Now we're going to put 3D meshes onto cubes. You can put it on the cubes, spheres or cylinders, and doing this is very similar to putting an image onto an object. So you put the file name into the input field, then you press find path, and then from the drop down you can select a path from the for the server, and then you click on the object with your center mouse button, and then it'll be downloaded from the server. So we've just downloaded a teapot, and I'm going to do the same in the other window, and I'm going to download a cup. Now what you can do is then you can change the color, you can change the rotation, and you can change the scale and also position, just like you do to any other object. So we can drag an object by dragging either the mesh, or you can drag on the object that the mesh is connected to. So we've scaled everything down to make it a little bit easier for us to see when we get close to it. To import a mesh, you put the local file extension of the mesh into the import field, then you click the import local mesh box, and then with your left mouse button you click on an object and the mesh gets attached to that object. Once the mesh is exported to the server, you can then upload it, and you can do that by putting the name of the mesh into the input field. You press find path, and this will give you a path from the drop down menu. You select the path you want, and then after deselecting annotation or change texture and selecting import server mesh, you can then click with your left mouse button onto the chosen object, and then the mesh will be attached to that object. What's going to happen here is we're going to create 3 panels and put images on them, and then we're going to have 2 other cubes and we're going to place meshes on them. And then we're going to create a setup that would be something that a collaborative group might use, where the different members of the group can have a look at the images individually and have a walk around, and also walk around the meshes. But they also can gather around one particular item, such as an image or a mesh, and then they can comment on it by using annotation or gestures. The way a player or user can move around is by using the A, W, S, and D keys. So you use A and D to move left and right, W and S to move forwards and backwards, and you can also use the E and F key to move up and down. Now the way you can change your view is when you press the pan on or off button, or the Q key, and that will allow you to move your view around, and you do that by moving the mouse. We're going to save a session, and we do that first by pressing the save load button, and this will bring up a panel, and this panel on the top of it has a input field, and you put the session name, and then you press save server button. Now we're going to exit this part of the application and go back to the lobby, and then we're going to reload and then re-enter into the main part of this application. Now once we've done that, we can reload the session. Now we're going to reload the session, and to do that we go back to the Save Load panel, and in the input field at the top we put the session name that we saved before, and then we press lookup file. And this will give us in the drop down different versions of the session. We select the version we want, and then we press the Get Server button. This is a demonstration of using spheres as pins for annotations. So instead of placing an annotation on an entire object like an image or a mesh, you can place a sphere on a particular spot and use it like a pin to place an annotation on a very precise point. That way, instead of having the annotation on the entire object, you can just specify a particular part of the object. For example, you can place the sphere on a teapot image on the top of the teapot or on the spout of the teapot.